Your product doesn't matter. Might be the best product in the world. Might be the only product that does this thing. It might be the duck's nuts. It's irrelevant. Now remember, in the 5 stages, connect, disturb, product, next step, sense of urgency, product or solution or service, whatever it is you're selling, is the least important. Now, that's not to sound all doom and gloom and say that you should pack up and go home, or that your product is irrelevant in terms of absoluteness, because it's not. Obviously it's not. But the customer, the prospect, they don't care, right? They truly don't. They will buy the thing that eases their pain. And as we've discussed, pain is important, connect is important, sense of urgency and next steps are important, but you need to show how your product solves that pain and does it in a way that meets whatever that urgency is. Time, impact, regulation, legislation, competition, politics, right? Your speeds and feeds, the shape of your widget, the size, the color, who did it, who built it, all the research behind it, no one cares. It's a great story to tell yourself, move on. What matters, and I know that I'm sounding repetitive because I am, is telling the story of how your product or service or solution has solved a similar pain for someone else and what result they got, what outcome were they able to achieve. That's what people care about. They care about the outcome, and most importantly, they care about themselves. And to prove this to you, think of right now your very best friend in the world, whoever it is, not your partner, right? Your friend. Now, when you wake up in the morning, is the first thought that you have about them, or is it about you? And to turn this around, do you think that their very first thought when they wake up in the morning is about you? Or do you think it's about them? Now, that's not to say that you're a mean, nasty, selfish, egotistical person, because you're probably not. You're probably lovely. But the reality is, people care about ourselves, right? You are your most interesting topic, right? If you've ever read any book on connecting or networking or building rapport, you'll notice that they all point to make it about the person you're speaking to, not about you. Because in the end, they don't care. As harsh as that may be to hear, right? So this is the same thing when you're pitching. The prospect doesn't care about when you were incorporated or who your board of directors are or how long you've been around or all your expertise. They care about how you can take that and apply it to solve their problem. So whenever I give a presentation or I'm in a sales meeting, if that stuff is necessary, and sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, it's at the back, right? It's after I have proven that I understand their pain, that I've got them to articulate it to me. We've got empathy now, but importantly, they told me what that was and I've just extracted it out of them. I've now have permission to share a solution. We've got agreement on what that payoff would be and the implication of them not doing that. I talk about my product a little bit, and I might use the people who built this have been doing this for years and they've done X, Y, and Z in terms of helping others. That's relevant. But just saying that we have PhD Dr. Roger Franklin, and I just made that name up, so if there's a Roger Franklin, I apologize. But we have Dr. Roger Franklin, so who cares? I don't know who that is. We have the person who invented the blah, 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 that has made a world-changing impact on thousands of lives in such a way that relates to what you're doing. Well, that sounds interesting. It's just a little bit of credibility. As Doug Weed famously said, and he's been an advisor to multiple US presidents, you can promote anyone but yourself. All right, so that's where if you look at, say, a movie poster, and you look at all the quotes about, it's the movie of the year, it's sensational, it's the best impact, that's great. But if you look and you might see that it's the, Black Butt Bulletin, some town you'd never heard of. It's the Chronicle, it's the Cairns Chronicle. Well, Cairns is a decent sized town in Australia, but you know what I mean, right? It doesn't matter who said it, all right? someone else did, right? And this is where referrals and case studies and things like that are important, because they articulate not the product, but what the product did for them. That's the power of those stories, right? So your product itself is great. I'm sure it's wonderful. Doesn't matter. Now, yes, that's the thing you're selling. That's the thing you get paid on. That's awesome. Without it, you wouldn't be here. But when you're selling, and more importantly, when you're helping the customer buy, it doesn't matter. It's what it can do for them, right? Think of a Thermomix. Now, for those who don't know, a Thermomix is like an all-in-one wonder kitchen appliance, but they're fairly pricey. And my wife wanted one for a long time. Now, this was especially relevant when I traveled roughly 70%. I was out in the field, selling, kicking goals, achieving quota, exceeding quota, right? The thing that finally convinced me was my wife telling me about the time she would save, about the stress that she would relieve, about how she'd be able to take the kids to swimming on a Thursday afternoon, or how she'd be able to prepare 3 meals and put them in the fridge, because I'd travel for a week at a time. And that's the thing that sold me. It was the thing that the Thermomix did for my wife. Now that I travel less, right, I kind of still laugh about it. Like, we call it the German death machine because it's got blades and buttons and everything. Like, it's Wi-Fi connected. It's insane. But it does amazing stuff. And the thing that sold me was the lifestyle the picture of lifestyle that it sold, the emotion, the connection to your family, right? Not that I could prepare a meal and push a button and walk away. Like, that's nice, but what does that do for me, right? So keep this in mind when you're talking to customers or your prospects. It's not about the thing, it's about what the thing can do for them. And specifically, stay on topic of whatever the thing is that solves their pain, right? Like, you might have heard of the term FAB, features and benefits. It's only a benefit to the customer if it solves one of their pains. If you're talking about stuff that doesn't solve their pain, you are off track, you are setting traps for yourself, you are seeding your own disaster. Stay on topic of what your product helps them achieve or relieve or solve, right? That's what's important. So keep that in mind next time you're speaking to a prospect. It's not about the thing.